Hello, fellow YouTubers. This is the Imaginator. I'm here today to bring you guys, ladies, my One Piece Mind Chapter 1041 review. The title of this One Piece Mind Chapter is called Kumurasaki. The first page is Niji and Yanji are being slapped by Pudding because Pudding obviously must have heard of how abusive they were towards their younger brother Sanji, who Pudding is having a love affection, who has a love affection for. So I guess you say she is pretty much slap some sense into them and say how can they be disrespectful to Sanji? So putting sticking up for Sanji, which is pretty awesome, in her part. The chapter starts off with Yamato and Momonosuke. They have a talk about uh, Zunisha, and Zunisha informs Momonosuke that he wants to assist in battle. Uh, and Momonosuke is kind of confused of why his father Odin took out some part of the message on the logbook that he wrote when he was with Roger's crew, and pretty much Whitebeard's too. He doesn't know what his father, saw in the Fine Island, and he is just kind of confused, or pretty much bewildered, and having severe doubts about about himself, and telling Yamato to be a coward and etc. And then there's the next portion of the chapter where we have Raizo, which is a hysterical, where it's pretty much the end of his fight against Fukurokuju, as Fukurokuju is lying in defeat and flames, and Raizo, is also being engulfed by flames, and pretty much pretty much on high, feeling the pain of the burn, that they unleashed during their battle. And then Jinbei actually caught notice of Raizo as well from afar. The next portion of the chapter is pretty much Orochi and Kuromasaki, which I think this is the main focus point in the chapter since it's tied Kuromasaki. Pretty much Orochi is kind of infuriated now that Kanjiro and Fukurokuju are nowhere to be seen from his presence, and he tells Kuromasaki, hey, stop playing with that instrument, because he's getting pretty much enraged the fact that Kuromasaki isn't doing anything and failing to recognize that they're in a dangerous situation. It's like a life or death, or pretty much a life and death situation. And then all of a sudden, this structure on the upper floor falls on Orochi, and then Kuromasaki tells Orochi that she put sea prism stones on it to prevent him from using his ability to transfer to that eight. I think it's 8 or 9. I believe it's like 8 serpent form. And then she reveals to him that she's actually Odin's daughter. That Odin is her father. And this obviously shocks Orochi, because Orochi was kind of figuring that, hey, if you die, you shouldn't be alive, and etc. And then the next portion of the chapter, we have all the, like, Frankie, Dresden, Zoro, Nami, and Marco are just kind of being aware of what's occurring around their surroundings. And then we have Law and then we have CP0 actually. CP0 looks around, and they're still trying to fend off against Izo. Izo successfully shoots one of them, and I think the CP0 name was Maha, and he pretty much died. I believe it's safe to say, because the other CP0 agent was really like irate and shocked. Like say Izo, it's like Maha, his fellow his partner, or fellow CP9 agent. And he was like really ticked off at Izo, a remnant of Whitebeard's helping out, Luffy and his alliance. And then he receives like a call from another of his Cypher Zero agent to take it had an order from the Five Elders, safe to assume, to take out Straw Hat Luffy. And then the CP9 agent guy is like, "Whoa, what do you mean? You know, that's ridiculous. You want me to interfere with, with Straw Hat fighting against Kaido? You want me to interfere with that intense battle? That's when they decided to take the Wando. And then that's when we have the Marco and Nami and being aware of their surroundings, what's going on around their surroundings, and Frankie, rescuing Zoro. And we see like a big crater hole that Law created with his technique. Well, with actually both, wait, pretty much Law's technique, and kids too. And then they still pretty much really batter up and severely injured from their battle. And then we get to the final portion of the chapter where we have Luffy and Kaido's battle resuming. We see the power of the Kakotake colliding, just oozing out from their clash. And then Kaido mourns over Big Mom's, defeat, and he gets flashbacks of back when he first met for the first time when they were young, back when he was 15. And I think Big Mom at the time was like, I believe in her 20s. I believe her 20s, either mid 20s, late 20s, or early 30s, somewhere around there. And then Luffy's like, I don't care about that, and he uses his Snake Man form and successfully hits Kaido with consecutive punches in his form, and that's the end of the chapter. Overall, I thought the chapter was great. I like that was a multiple, sections of all the important key figure characters. Main focus characters being shown what they are currently doing and what's transpiring in Onigashima. I and yeah, and I just like how Izo, even though he was stated be a member of the Whitebeard Pirates, who also helped Luffy back in Marineford, actually still is proven to be a very reliable ally in the current time to help Luffy even more. Even though this is kind of, with the exception that this is kind of without Luffy's knowing, but Luffy, I'm pretty sure does know about Izo's presence there, and it's cool that he's helping out. And yeah, and it seems like now CP0 are now getting their feet dirty now, and yeah, this is pretty much all crazy. It's like a free for all battle now, like an all out battle now. Either side of parties are involved now, not just Kaido's pirate crew and Luffy's alliance. And I like the very first cover story page of Pudding just slapping, Ig. I think it was Niji, Ayanji. I'm supposed to say Niji because I think it's just on her side, Niji too. Well, mainly just him, and sticking up for Sanji. Kind of giving her help, support of giving back to how they were disrespecting Sanji. I thought that was pretty cool on her part, and it goes to show that she's legitimately Sanji's true lover, or I say, or value friend at the least. All right, so and I like the Conquered Haki oozing out again, once again with Luffy and Kaido's battle resuming. I like the flashback too of, we've seen a younger, like a younger not Whitebeard, Big Mom, and we didn't see Kaido when he was 15. We'll probably see that later on down the road. Well, I'll probably see that much later on down the road as further chapters pass on. Alright, so that is it, fellow YouTubers. That's my review of One Piece Manga Chapter 1041. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. Please like the video, comment your thoughts down below, subscribe to my channel, The Imagineer, for more manga chapter reviews, anime discussions, and many more. With all that being said, fellow YouTubers, y'all all have a wonderful day.